I cannot tell you when I first brought this up to people's attention. It might have been, 10 years ago, more than that. And it was before AGI or anybody even talked about it, before CGI even. But it was right around that time. And I asked the question, what if I took a picture of a woman who is of age, 18 years old, let's say 20 years old, who might be, for purposes of this explication, who might be underdeveloped, whatever the hell that means. And then what if I were to take a picture of a child, an actual child of who, by the way, is clearly underage, a minor. You can pick that time. And what if I were to superimpose the two? And this legal adult, albeit ostensibly younger in terms of affect and physiognomy and, etc. What if they were doing something? It appeared that they were conducting some kind of, or involved in some kind of sexual activity, which would be clearly very serious if indeed a child were doing it. But a child wasn't. It was a child in a picture that appeared to be this person, Would that be what is called now CSAM, child sexual abuse material? Not kiddie porn is what they used to say. Wow. Years ago, there was a show called To Catch a Predator. Steve Hansen, whatever his name is, NBC. Have a seat. And remember, they would ask people to pose. People would pose as minors. Police officers would. Minors, adults, pretending to be a minor in this, whatever it was. Pretending. And somebody would be tapping away and say, "Oh, how old are you?" I'm 12. Oh, this is disgusting. Turns out the guy's a 42-year-old Palm Beach detective sergeant named Chick. He's typing away. "Hey, can I meet you?" "Sure. Come on over." "Okay." And he shows up. And there's no 12-year-old there. It's Chris Hansen. What do they call him? Steve? Anyway, Hansen. He says, "Have a seat." He goes, "Oh my God." And if somebody were to say, "Excuse me, you're under arrest." "Under arrest for what?" "Well, because you've indicated that you desired to meet, to be with a young person. Somebody under the age." "Well, do they exist?" "No." "Well, who was injured? Was there, did I actually come into contact? Let me apologize." "Well, there is no 12-year-old. "What? There is no 12-year-old. "You thought there was a 12-year-old. "I thought there was. Yes. So there's no victim?" There's a victim. "Who?" "Well, the state of Florida." Usually it's Florida, my home state. Because it's a crime. "A crime what? To think that you're doing this?" What if you're walking down the street and you're blind and you're drunk and you're blind drunk, and all of a sudden you get the impression that somebody is standing in front of you, but they're not. Nobody there. But you think there is by virtue of some kind of, I don't know what, but you think they're there. And lo and behold, the strangest thing happens. You pull out a gun and you say, "Stick 'em up." And there's nobody there. But you thought they were there. But there's nobody there. But you thought they were there. And you're charged with an armed robbery. But there's nobody there. There's nobody to be placed in fear, nobody to be threatened. It doesn't matter. That's where this is with this crazy case. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first one to say anybody who even, if this guy did it once, he's done it before, and he probably connected with kids, and he's a rat bastard and should be pulled apart by Malamutes. But the point is, it was a thought crime. He thought he was doing this. He thought, what if I'm in a bar and there's the same girl who looks very underage. I'm buying her a drink and I'm trying my wiles and blah, 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 and I'm trying to lure this kid. And it's a woman who's 25 years old, but I think it's a kid and it's not. You're going to arrest me for what I thought? These are thought crimes. And because they deal with the inexplicably horrible, people will say, I don't even want to discuss it or deal with it any further. I don't want to discuss it or deal with it any further because I just can't handle it. Okay, fine. But that's where we are with this. Now we're getting deepfakes. Now we're having people who say, hey, look at this. It happened in Westfield, New Jersey. A bunch of students said, somebody put my picture. Now, this is a little different. Put my picture on a depiction of something, and it looks as though it's clearly it's not me. But so how do you charge somebody with something? It's called deepfake. Well, it's not you. Yeah, but you have to do something. Do what? I think it maybe we need some new legislation, maybe under a kind of a version of libel or something. But what we're doing here, and what's interesting to note, very, very interesting, is that we live in a position, in a world, where technology and the law aren't jibing. There's no connectivity. We're charging people with thinking. They're talking to people. Now, sometimes, remember, if you're talking to a person that you believe to be a hitman and it's a cop, that's not the same thing, because the law proscribes you offering to pay for solicitation of murder to anyone, Mother Teresa, Pope Frank, anybody. You don't have to be only to a legitimate, a person, a hitman. You can go up and think you're soliciting a prostitute who is a cop. If prostitution laws even exist in the next 5 years, that's different because the law prohibits you from soliciting anyone for the purposes of prostitution, irrespective of whether they really are prostitutes or not. Do you see where this is going? This is distinguished from. In the next couple of years, you're going to be hearing gradations. And because we live in a society where critical thinking is not anything that we do, where people do not enjoy breaking down the nuances and the subtleties between, well, what if you thought you were committing a crime, but you weren't, and you could not have possibly done it in the first place because there is no child or there is no woman. Because we don't have schools, because education and deep thinking are not a part of our performance package, we don't ever talk about that. And consequently, we will be unable to deal with these issues in the immediate future. My dear friend, thank you. Let this kind of marinate. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of new streams and all that stuff. And more importantly, I always ask you to comment as you see fit.